Well, it's been a shade under an hour and 3/4. Should we have a looky poos? Yes, let's, I hear you say. With great anticipation. The people at home watched in awe as he removed the tape, slowly but with a firm hand. Lovely sound. A resounding success. These are going to be superb. Well, I'm more than happy with that. I'm absolutely ecstatic. I'm beside myself. Are we happy? We're happy. So let's crack on and get the panels themselves done. Okay, see you on the other side. Well, my panels are an absolute raving success. Let me show you. Here's one I prepared earlier. Isn't that beautiful? We've sanded them to 220 grit. And if you could feel that, smoother than a witch's smooth thing. So now I know the thickness of the panel. It's a nads under 11 mil, which is unfortunate, as I don't have an 11 mil bit. So my next job is to rake the groove in my pieces. Now, as I was thinking about this part of the build, I had planned to use the router table, but then it dawned on me that whilst the rails are straight through, which is great on the router table, the stiles aren't, and these are stopped, and I am really not comfortable with plunging a piece down on the router table because it's not a vertical plunge. And I just don't like the idea of it. It doesn't sit well. So I've made up this teeny weeny jiggy thing. This piece is purely there to help stabilize the router as I'm rating the groove in the top of it. And somewhere here I have a clamp. So if I keep this piece in line with the edge, so by clamping my stile to this piece, which is screwed to the MDF, I can't quite clamp it, but I've got a set of clamps there on a piece of scrap. That then butts up against my bench hook. That's nice and tight there. So I'm good to go. So I've got to make 2 passes unfortunately. And if I route from the beginning of that domino hole to that domino hole, then that'll give me the 6mm depth I need for the groove in the rails. Did that make sense? I hope so. I know what I'm talking about. It'll make sense when you see it. Final job before glue up, the bevels. So to bring you up to speed, channels are all routed, panels are all done, stiles, rails and panels all sanded to 320 in the hope that my glue up comes out really clean and I don't have to worry, apart from the odd little touch up here and there, about sanding once the door panels are assembled. That's my aim. Whether I can achieve that or not, who knows? Time will tell, as the saying goes. So I've set my router table up with a little bevel bit in it, 45 degree, and I'm merely going to put the smallest of chamfers on just to simulate that design that I showed you in the picture earlier in the vid. As you can see, I've set the fence just slightly back of the bearing so that I can feed in nice and safely. I'm going to do all the lengths first so that the bevel's in place before I do the ends, so that I don't get tear out. Well, here we are. Finally time for glue up. I forgot I put you up so high then. I've given my bevels just a real light sand with 600 because I want to keep them sharp to look at, not sharp to touch. Okay, so I've got my right angled, it's not really a jig, is it, frame that I used for making the drawers for the cabinets all those videos ago. I've got my pieces all laid out. I've done a dry fit test and all the joints are snugly. So I'm going to glue up the stile, slot the piece in, glue up the rail, slot it, do the top, clamp, double quick time, because as per normal, Type Bond 3 waits for no man or woman or child or person. Get a reasonable amount in there. And also my apologies for the length of the video. But if you've made it this far, congratulations, grab a bourbon. I figure you'll want to see one of them put together. I hope you'd like to see one of them put together. Of course you would. I did say they were snuggly, and I meant it. They're snuggly, which is nice, let's be honest. There's nothing worse than slop in your groove. One's in a little bit. Just pop you out and pop it. Bit there. Quickly now. And finally, holes for the hinges. Hold my hand up and own up to the fact that I've made a pig's ear of laying out for the hinges, because I cut the dovetails in the side panels and then cut the holes for the hinge brackets. Should have cut the holes for the hinge bracket first and then cut the dovetails, because it's altered all the sizing. So what I've had to do is take the doors into the cabinets, surreptitiously of course, and mark center line for the hinge brackets and line it up. But they should still be fine. So I'm 23mm in on center of the bit. I've set height to 13mm, depth stop set. Rails bracketized. I've worked out which way I want the doors, front and back. Let's do the deed. And time for the moment of truth. Or actually, it's time to see how beautiful they look. and how lucky my bourbon's going to be to have such a beautiful home. I'm using Blum or Bloom soft close. Get on with it. That is soft. Genteel is the word. Genteel. Well, a few minor adjustments, but a thing of beauty. And now, a spot of finish. And just for a change, a spot of Danish oak. But this time, I have some wadding. Look at that, I'm wadded up. Charge my wad. That's what they say. I'm not having a laugh here. Probably have to use a brush around the hinge, but this was the best way I could come up with to be able to do both sides of the door at the same time. I think it's rather genius. I'll try and remember to keep my fat arse out the way of the camera. Oh, look at that. Oh, I feel like a new daddy. That is beautiful. B-E-A beautiful, as Mr. Carey says. Especially shortened brush so it fits in the pot. Goddamn superstar. Ladies and jelly spoons, I give you the oak bourbon cabinets with bird's eye maple veneered panel doors. I've said before, self-praise is no praise, and I was wrong because I think I've done a fantastic job. There were a few hiccups along the way. The resin went incredibly wrong. I cut the dovetails before I cut the holes for the hinge brackets. I had little bits of tear out here and there, but I've overcome them all and created these beauties. I am absolutely delighted with them. And what do I see here? Gosh, a reward for me. A drop of Woodford double oak nonetheless. I believe I am deserving of a wee dram. Look at that. And look at that colour match. It's superb, is it not? See how well the bourbon sits in the cabinet. I do hope you've enjoyed watching this series of videos. I've thoroughly enjoyed making the cabinets, and I'm thoroughly going to enjoy opening the doors and taking my bourbon out, and then sampling a drop and putting the bottle back. Thank you very much for watching. I do hope to see you again soon, and don't forget to subscribe. Ta-ra.